Allie Monroy here with Ryan Koenigsberg in Philadelphia after an embarrassing loss by the Denver Broncos, 23-51 against the Eagles, the most points that they've allowed since 2010 against the Raiders. Ryan, what happened?
You know, it felt like a team that was hanging on by a thread. This defense has done everything for them for so long now, and finally the defense met their maker. And, you know, Carson Wentz, this Philadelphia Eagles offense, those guys are the truth. But they also caught the defense on a day where they just didn't have it, and it was kind of a perfect combination there. You know, there's a lot of outside speculation on whether this team quit or not, and I think it's a combination. You know, of course, they weren't playing with the same effort and energy that they play with in a close game, and in the division at home. But at the same time, you know, this defense was hanging on by a thread, and Carson Wentz just came in here and snipped it right off.
The tight end coverage has been an issue for the Denver Broncos so far this season, and they thought they caught a break with Zach Ertz being out today, but it seemed like it didn't matter who was out there.
Yeah, you know, Joe Wood said this week that they weren't going to change anything in terms of how they covered the tight ends. He said they just needed to do what they do better. Well, it's starting to look like this wasn't a Travis Kelce thing or an Evan Ingram thing or a Hunter Henry thing. This is a Broncos thing. They simply aren't able to cover these guys in man coverage. You know, the touchdown down here was Brandon Marshall one-on-one with Trey Burton. Carson Wentz exploited it. You know, this was a quarterback that was going to find the matchups he wanted and exploit them and make all the throws when they're there. This team, it doesn't have the guys to cover these big athletic tight ends, and you're seeing it on a week-in, week-out basis now. So they're going to have to make some changes at some point.
Brock Osweiler made his starting debut and threw 2 interceptions. What did you think of his performance and the offense overall?
Well, for one time, it feels like the defense put the offense in a bad position. You know, Brock Osweiler all week and Vance Joseph all week, it was about protect the ball and this defense will get the job done. Well, the defense wasn't getting the job done, and Brock Osweiler was forced to take chances that maybe he wouldn't have made if the Broncos were only down 3 or only down 10. Now, I know his first turnover was early in the game. That, to me, just seems like, a guy that was still shaking the rust off. He made a bad throw. The second one was more of just, now we're praying, because this offense needed to somehow find a way to get back in the game. We all know that they don't have the capability to do that in this offense right now. So Brock wasn't good. He wasn't great. He wasn't good by any stretch of the mind. But you're still left wondering if this defense has a good day, can he be better? Because even Von Miller said it after the game. He thought that the offense did enough today for them to get a win on a normal day.
Well, Ryan, where does the team go from here?
Well, they've got a tough game coming up against the New England Patriots, and after that, you could easily find yourselves at 3-6. From a quarterback standpoint, it's probably time to say those words, find out what you have in Paxton Lynch, and from there, probably figure out where you're going to go as a franchise from here, because what we thought we learned in 2015, which was that defense can get you anything you want if it's good enough, we've kind of unraveled here in the last 2 years. This team needs a franchise quarterback. They need a more explosive offense, and clearly, things aren't great on defense either. So, everything kind of has to be evaluated at this point. Vance Joseph talked about that last week, but that kind of applies to Vance Joseph and his entire coaching staff right now. This kind of stuff doesn't fly with the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos don't get blown out. They don't let 50 points be hung on them, and when they do, it usually means something big's going to happen. So I'm not saying, they're going to fire anyone this week or anything like that, but it's time to look deep inside and figure out where you're going as a franchise, because this current formula that you thought you had right in 2015 has been proven wrong.
Well, to catch the rest of our post-game coverage, be sure to go to bsnbroncos.com. For Ryan Koenigsberg, I'm Allie Monroy, BSN Denver.